Hey guys, we are back with some more Salt Lake City Lakers franchise mode. And in this one, we have a huge decision to make on Rohan Bowman, who was tendered a qualifying offer, or well, not tendered a qualifying offer, but he was given an offer sheet by the Montreal Canadiens, and we have less than a week now to decide if we want to keep him or not. They signed him, I believe it was for 4 years at $12.5 million per year. And when you consider the circumstances that we're in, if Ilya Kistov hadn't grown over this offseason, let's say he only grew to like 81 overall instead of 85, then this might be an offer that I'm still entertaining as far as re-signing Bowman, but it's just not. I think we take the compensation because, number one, you have Ilya Kistov, who grew over the offseason. He's an 85 overall now, and in the 3 games that he's played so far this season, he's not much, but .917 save percentage, so I'm hopeful for him, and we may as well just run with him, and he's also much, much cheaper for the next couple of years than Rohan Bowman will be, and, I mean, again, the situation with Holtby is unfortunate for sure, so I guess if we were in the situation where Holtby wasn't performing like he is now, and if Kistov didn't grow, then I would definitely have to consider getting Rohan Bowman back. But it's just not realistic right now, especially with our cap situation being the way it is. We're kind of tight on the cap. I think we have less than $2 million remaining. So for me, I would just rather take the compensation. I don't know if I can justify giving Rohan Bowman, who had, 32 games of NHL experience. The $12.5 million for Rohan Bowman just is not worth it, in my opinion. So executive decision there. As far as Rohan Bowman goes, it's not worth it. It's really not. But as we take a look at the lines here, we have a slightly different lineup than when we left off last time. The first line is now Plekanec, Wright, and Burakovsky, because they create a +3 chemistry there, as opposed to Marner being there, which is 0-line chemistry. So we're going to see how Burakovsky does on the first line with Wright and Plekanec, and they're doing fine so far, but we had to shake something up about that second line and about basically every other line. So we're going to see if that could get Waugh and LaRose going, because so far they've been silent. Messier, Crosby, and Nieuwendyk, they've got to get going somehow. So I don't really know what to do about that line just yet. I guess I'm just hoping that Crosby will figure it out and then help these two get going. And the power play is also different because at last checked, our power play is currently at a 0%. So we had to change something up there. So we're just going to go for the 5-on-5 lines as far as the power play goes. Plekanec, Wright, and Burakovsky with Dundas and Doughty. And then the second line will be LaRose, Crosby, and Marner with Waugh and Dumba. The penalty kill will be Atkinson and LaRose with Lambos and Fleury, and then Naslund and Gunler with Goddard and Dumba. And the 3-man penalty kill still haven't quite figured out the chemistry for the second line just yet, but at least we got it figured out for the first line. But before that was a -2, but now with Atkinson in there instead of, I think it was Zarnik before, it's now a 0, so it's better. 4-on-4 lines, Wright is with Burakovsky now instead of Marner, who is now with Plekanec. And then you have, I don't think this changed at all, 3-on-3, same thing here. Burakovsky with Wright, Marner with Plekanec. Extra attackers are Wright and Crosby. Shootout didn't change. And in goal, of course, nothing changed. So we'll see what those lines do. And we are going to advance up until the notification about Mr. Rohan Bowman. And we are going to be taking the compensation for him. The Montreal Canadiens have offered Rohan Bowman $12.545 million for 4 years. And since we obviously do not have the cap space to match their offer, we will be taking the compensation, which is 2 first-round picks, 1 for this year, 1 for next year, and a second and a third, both for this year's draft. Take compensation, and there you go. And this may or may not be a glitch, but he's currently buried in their minor league team. That's just great. That's awesome, EA. So we've simulated a few days, and he's still not on their main roster. I would have to imagine that this is a cap space issue. Rohan Bowman's going to be buried in the minors for the rest of the year, isn't he? I just have this feeling. But good news, we have gotten quite a few wins in the last stretch. We are now 4-5-1. Before we were 1-4-1. So That is, I believe, only one loss in our past 4 games. Not bad, but let's keep it consistent and hopefully we can get our way out of this mess. Jesse Atkinson has been injured with a broken nose till November 16th. I think we'll just do head coach replaces player because I think that'll put Eakin in there because he's back from injury now. And now he's back and fully healed, so we'll take Eakin out and Atkinson back in. Ugh, not an injury you want to see there. Peyton Dundas injured with a mild concussion till November 19th. I don't think that's too long from now, luckily. Probably a week at most, but still. Any game without Dundas is bound to not be a good one. And welcome back to the lineup, Peyton Dundas. We missed you for those 2 games. So at the end of November, we are currently 11-11-1. Better situation than before, for sure. But that doesn't mean we're in a good situation, per se. It's just better. We are currently 2 points behind the Blackhawks and 3 points behind the Stars and 4 points behind the Blues. So we're still very much in it. We have to, I guess, stay... Well, we haven't really been consistent. We definitely got better in November than we were in October, but still not ideal. There's still quite a few losses in there. A loss against Washington and Nashville. Then there's a loss against Ottawa and Minnesota. A loss against Detroit as well. Dundas was out for that game, though. And then you have a 7-4 loss against Tampa. So we're just going to take a quick look at the team stats and the player stats, see how our power play, penalty kill, and individual stats are doing. So goals for per game, we are currently sitting at 3.43. All right, that's not bad. Actually, that's pretty good. I don't remember where it was when we last checked, but I can almost guarantee that it wasn't that high. So we're likely trending in the right direction. Goals against per game, that I think was at like a 4 when we last checked. So it's gone down for sure. Power play, we were at a 0%. At last checked, so a 13.8. You gotta think as of recent, that's around 20%, possibly 22, 23. So that's good enough for me for right now. And the penalty kill, we were previously at a 70%, and now we're at a 76.6. So again, as of recent, that's probably more like an 82. So I would say special teams are good right now, and we're just all around doing much better than we were in October, of course. So now let's check out the player stats and see what's going on here. Goaltender-wise, you have Holtby, who's... why is Holtby starting more games than Keystov? Yeah, I mean, his save percentage is up there. It's much better than it was before. I'll say that. He was at an 820 before. Now he's at an 876. So as of recent, that's probably 900 at the very least. You gotta think. So he's trending in the right direction for sure. But Keystov, I want Keystov to get the majority of the games. So I think what we're going to do is take automated goalie rotations off so that Keystov can get the majority of the games. Because Holtby's overall is higher as of right now, I believe. So the games obviously, well, actually they're equal right now. But I think the game is still going to favor Holtby. And that is not what I want. So we're going to turn automated goalie rotations off before we start the next sim. Dumba, currently leading our defenseman in points with 17 in 23 games. He's turned it up a notch. Hayden Fleury with 13 points, looking to have a bounce-back season offensively. Last year wasn't too good for him, only 22 points. But this year he seems to be on track for roughly 40 points if he could keep this going. So definitely not complaining from him. Peyton Dundas, currently at 11 points. Honestly, I wish he would tone down his fighting, because I guarantee you that probably at least 20 of those penalty minutes are from fighting majors, because I believe his fighting tendency is set to often. So I might honestly want to turn that down a little bit, because Dundas is too important of a player to be just fighting all the time. Doughty, 7 points. Goddard with 4. Lambos with 4. Starling with 2 games played. Physically, you have Fleury, Goddard, Dumba, and Lambos all laying the body. Doughty and Dundas not so much. That's all right. We know Doughty's not going to lay the body too much, and Dundas, he did lay the body a lot last year, but we haven't seen that consistently from him yet. So he's not really considered a defensive or physical defenseman in my mind just yet. Takeaways to giveaways, I mean, these are all over the place for defensemen, although does look like we have more Much more giveaways than I would want, for sure. Usually I look for the 2-to-1 ratio for defensemen. Currently, that's not the case for the majority, if not all of them, besides Sterling, who, of course, has only played 2 games, so not many opportunities to turn over the puck. Forward-wise, you have Plekanec with 28 points, so that first line's definitely going. Burakovsky with 20 points in 23 games. I believe he started with 1 point in 6 games, so that first line is definitely on a roll. Wright with 27 points as well. There you go, Crosby with 19 points on the third line, so that must mean that Messier and Nieuwendyk have gotten a few points here and there as well. Marner with 16 points. He slowed down a little bit being on the second line, but that's okay because we got Burakovsky going. Crosby's going now, so we spread out the scoring a little bit that way. Waugh with 14 points. He's doing his job. LaRose with 10. Messier with 9. Okay. I mean, again, he had a very slow start. It's his rookie season. I'm not going to put too much on him just yet. Same thing for Nieuwendyk. 8 points in 23 games. Not too big of a deal. He's gotten better. He's certainly gotten better, as pretty much everyone else has. Gunler, I believe he actually started the season, like the first 6 games, with 5 points, so he's definitely dried up as of recent. Only 7 points now, but still, I would imagine he's contributing defensively, which we'll check in a second. Naslund with only 4 points. Eakin with 3 in 10 games. Atkinson with 1 in 13. And let's check out forwards defensively, but actually we'll take a look at shot totals first. So leading in shot totals is Sidney Crosby with 81 in 23 games, alongside of Burakovsky with 76 and LaRose with 73. Shooting percentages, Eakin with a 22.2, but only 9 shots. Wright with a 19.4 on 62 shots. So Wright kind of being a little bit of a sniper this season so far. 18.6% for Plekanec on 43 shots. 14.8 for Crosby on 81 shots. Face-off percentages, this is what I'm concerned about for sure. Crosby with a 58%. That is what you like to see. Wright with a 53.4. Like to see that. LaRose with a 52.7. Like to see it. And who else is taking face-offs? Is it Naslund? Yeah, I think it's Naslund at the fourth line with a 46.5. So much better at face-offs this year than we were last year, that's for sure. Fax, I believe, was our best face-off guy last year with a 50%, or like just barely a 50%, or maybe even under. Much better in the face-offs department so far this year. Hit-wise, you have Wright with 47, so Wright really becoming an all-round beast here, it looks like, because his takeaway giveaway ratio is also very good. So he's been a physical force for quite a while now, and it looks like he's consistent with it as well. So he's really, once he starts being consistent with faceoffs, he's going to be an all-around threat for years to come. And not only that, but his offense looks to be making a turn as well, with 27 points in 23 games. So he is absolutely turning into a stud. Plekanec with 44 hits, 41 for LaRose, 30 for Messier. So that's good. Messier, even though he's a playmaker, he does lay the body quite a bit, it appears. So I would like to see that consistently out of him, of course. Nieuwendyk, not so much, only 11 hits in 23 games. So I don't know what to make of Messier just yet, or Nieuwendyk. I guess we need to see more from them in the simulation before we can really gauge what their role is going to be on this team. And as we take a look at takeaways and giveaways, Crosby, very good. Waugh, very good. Burakovsky, very good. Wright, Marner, all those guys, very good. Plekanec, very good. Messier could be a bit better, 10 to 12, but it is his rookie season. I'll cut him a little bit of slack there. 9 to 13 for Naslund, 8 to 6 for Gunler, 7 to 19 for LaRose. Not ideal. Not ideal. Wish he could improve on that. Nieuwendyk, 6 to 14. Not ideal on that as well, but again, only 18. Cut him a little bit of slack there, but I wish he would be more around where Messier is. Eakin, 4 to 7. Eakin really hasn't been doing much this season whenever he's in. That's unfortunate. And Atkinson, 4 to 14. Yikes. That's brutal. At least Atkinson is laying the body. He's got 10 hits in 10 games played, I believe. Or 13 games played. I wish he would be doing better defensively for sure, but it's an okay start to his career. So back to the simulation we go. We are going to start December, and what we're going to do, I have turned automated goalie rotations off, and I think as far as the win-loss ratios, we're going to go 3 to 2 in favor of Kistov. Kistov's going to get 3 losses, and Holtby's going to get 2. So naturally, Kistov should get more starts than Holtby. So we'll see what these first 3 games of December bring for Kistov. Boston, Montreal, and Philadelphia. So in that stretch, we went 1-1-1. I'll give him Vancouver, obviously. That's not 3 losses yet, but a bit of a shaky start to December so far. So there's our second win of December against Vancouver. Let's give him another game against Colorado. Radek injured with a mild concussion until December 18th. That's about, I'd say, a week and a half away. And that's on the first line. That's first line. That's power play. Yeah, I'm going to manually insert a player here. I think it's going to be Eakin. I mean, Zarnik hasn't played much yet, well, at all yet, so you know what, we may as well try out Zarnik, see how he simulates. And he actually adds a +3 to that first line, so we may as well keep him there, because I think I want to keep this second line together. And Crosby on the third line's been hot, so I don't want to move him up. So yeah, we'll just see how Zarnik does on the first line. It's only for a week and a half anyway. I don't think it'll affect us too much. Let's check out how Kistov's doing. 914 save percentage in 13 games. Okay, that's higher than before. He was at a 909 before. And he gets the loss against Colorado. Yeah, we got to stick to our word here. We'll take him out in favor of Braden Holtby. So Holtby gets these 2 games against LA and Dallas. Let's see what he can do. We have a trade to San Jose, Oliu-Levy, and to Vancouver, a first and Marchessault. Nonetheless, we have a win against LA and an overtime loss against Dallas. We'll get Holtby 1 more game against Chicago. And we have a 5-1 loss. All right, so let us get Kistov back in there. And Radek is fully healed and available to play. We'll take Zarnik out. Actually, how did Zarnik do? 2 goals. Not bad. Not bad at all. Take him out for right now, though, because Mechanics is obviously the much better player. So, stretch of Florida, San Jose, and Anaheim here for Kistov. He gets a 2-1 loss against Florida, 3-1 win against San Jose, and against Anaheim, we have a 5-2 win. All right, solid. Solid stretch there. Let's keep it going. Against New York and Edmonton. Against New York, we have a 5-2 win, and against Edmonton, a 5-1 loss. He gets 1 more loss. Against Buffalo, we have a 5-3 loss. All right, that's rough. So, we end off December 17-17-3, so I believe we had an equal amount of regulation wins and regulation losses in addition to 2 overtime or shootout losses. So we're basically in the same spot as before. We're 4 points behind the Stars, but this time we're, I believe, 7 points behind the Blues and the Avalanche. So we're starting to slide back a little bit. I don't like that. We'll give Holtby the next start. The first line seems to be on automatic now. Mechanics is over a point per game. Wright is over a point per game. And Burakovsky is pretty close. So I really can't complain about the first line. The second line, they've been, well, Marner and Waugh have been doing all right. LaRose could be doing better. Messier on the third line, 13 points. Crosby with 27. Nieuwendyk could be doing much better. 11 points in 37 games played. Now, what about this fourth line? So, Atkinson only with 2 points still. Naslund only with 7. And Gunler with 8. Let's try moving one of these guys down to the fourth line in favor of someone like Naslund. How's Naslund done in faceoffs? I know he didn't have the greatest faceoff percentage when we last checked, 46.67. Let's try Atkinson in the middle, because I believe he has a 78 for faceoffs. I mean, so does Naslund, but, you know, all the rookies basically have a pretty good rating for faceoffs, especially if you're a winger. We're not going to check out the player stats in depth this month, but we will take a look at the team stats, see where the power play, goal scoring, all that is at. So currently for goals for, we're at 3.19, and goals against per game has gone down again to a 3.35. Power play has gone up to an 18.8, so don't have to touch the power play at all. The power play is clicking, it looks like finally. And the penalty kill has gone up since we last checked as well, 79.3. So again, that's probably around 82, 83, possibly 84 at this point for the penalty kill. And the power play, probably around 22%. Because remember, we started out absolutely horribly on the power play. We were 0% in, I think it was 12 or 20 opportunities. I don't remember exactly. But nonetheless, we had an absolutely horrible start to all of our special teams. Well, basically everything, not just special teams. But now the special teams appear to be going. So we're not going to touch a thing there. And so as a result, we are just going to continue the simulation. We got Holtby in net. He gets Carolina and St. Louis. Let's see what he can do. All right, so he gets a shootout loss, so he got points there, and a regulation win against Carolina. He gets the game against Vegas, and we have a 4-1 win. All right, another solid game for Holtby. Toronto, all right, I'll keep him in there as long as he's winning those games. Can't complain. Washington, 4-3 win. Keeping Holtby in for sure. Nashville, 6-3 loss. I'll give him one more game just because he's been on a tear as of recent. So New Jersey, we have a 5-2 win. Okay, keep it going, Holtby. Keep it going. I like what I see. There you go. 8-1 win. Our team's enjoying playing in front of Holtby right now. I do want to give time to Keystov. I really do, but Holtby's winning us games, and that's what we really need right now. So I gotta stick with Holtby. Ottawa, we have a 3-2 loss. All right, it's time to take Holtby out. He had a good run there. He had a good run. I just, I want to get Keystov some time. If he can do anything like what Holtby just did, we should see ourselves much closer to a playoff spot than we are now. We're still currently 7 points behind the Avalanche, 6 points behind the Blues, and 5 points behind the Stars. Hopefully that'll change here in this next stretch. So Minnesota, Detroit, and Winnipeg. Let's see what they got for us. All right, so a 3-game winning streak there for Mr. Ilya Keystov. 6-4 win against Minnesota, 3-1 win against Detroit, and a 4-1 win against Winnipeg. We are now 26-19-4. Which means that we are 6th in our division still, but we are now only 1 point behind the 5th place team, who I didn't see, and I'll check right now, the Avalanche, who have 57 points. We're only 3 points behind the Stars, who have 59 points, and we are 6 points behind the Wild, with 62 in 3rd place. So we're definitely closer than before. I think we can keep going. We're on a pretty good run right now. Let's just check out our goal. I'm mainly interested in our special team stats and in our goaltender stats. So Keystov stay consistent for the most part with a .917 save percentage so far in 23 games. And Holtby in 30 games with an .884. But remember, he started out with that brutal .820 save percentage. So that's going to be pretty tough for him to get that back up there. But nonetheless, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. So we will check out the special team stats now. And then we will get back into the simulation because I don't think there's too much to worry about. I think our special teams are rolling right now. Based off how much we're winning as of late. So currently with a goals for per game of 3.47 and a goals against per game of 3.16. Power play percentage is at 19.8 and the penalty kill 80.3. Yep, special teams, they are rolling. No need to touch them at all. And I think we could honestly, we could probably go through the trade deadline here in this video. Because even though, again, we're not in a playoff spot, we're definitely heading there based off what we're seeing as of late. So we'll go the games against Arizona, the Islanders, and Tampa. Oof, another injury for Radek Plekanec, this time with a mild concussion until February 5th. That's only about a week away. So we'll get Zarnik back on the first line because he did a pretty good job last time. I believe he had 2 goals in 3 games played. Yes, indeed. Ooh, breaking news. The Winnipeg Jets have fired head coach Braden McElrath. And Radek Plekanec is back and fully healed and ready to play in the next game. So Zarnik, let's see what you did there in those couple of games. Well, 1 game. Not much, it doesn't look like, but he did, I think, get a plus. So, not complaining. He did his job there as a fill-in player. Plekanec get back in there. And we got a win against Arizona, a win against the Islanders, and a loss against Tampa. So overall, pretty darn good as of late. We'll go 2 more games with Keystov in there. And we have a trade alert. Jankowski, a third and a third to the Islanders and to Washington, Calico, and Ulanov. So unfortunately, we took a couple of losses there against Calgary and Pittsburgh. So we are going to switch back into Braden Holtby. And I don't think we fell back too far. We're in 7th again. But point-wise, we're only 3 points behind of the Stars and 4 points behind the Avalanche. So it's still entirely possible. So Boston and Montreal for Braden Holtby. Let's see what he can do here. Against Boston, we have a trade alert. We have Buchnevich and a 6th to the Islanders, and to the Rangers, a 1st, McCutcheon, and a 3rd. And another trade. To Dallas, we have B. Doughty, Gerby, and Mayarov, and to Edmonton, Essa Lindell, I believe that is. So we lost against Boston 3-2, but we won against Montreal 5-4. So we'll give Holtby another game against Philly. 4-1 win. All right, like what I'm seeing so far. Vancouver, we have another trade to Winnipeg. We have Cullen and Harakala. And to Montreal, we have Pionk and a fourth. And against Vancouver, we have a 3-2 loss. So we will take out Holtby now and get in Mr. Keystov. So Colorado, LA, and Dallas. See what they have for Ilya Keystov. Hopefully we can shut them down and make our way back into a playoff spot, because I don't believe we are as of yet. Johan Larsson being placed on waivers by Anaheim. Decline. I don't think we need him. Nope, don't want that trade offer. Another trade alert. Man, the computers are making trades like crazy. Konechny to Buffalo and to Philadelphia, a first and Burrows. Against Colorado, we have a 3-1 victory. Another trade. Wow, the computers are absolutely going crazy with the trades here. To Ottawa, Dubois and Santini. And to Vancouver, 2 firsts, Johansson and Helenius. Wow. And against LA, we have a 6-2 win. Very nice. Dallas, we have a 4-3 win. All right, we keep winning games. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. Chicago is going to be a 3-2 loss. Another trade to Philadelphia. We have a first and Campbell. And Toronto, Rubtsov and a fourth. Another trade to Winnipeg, Chorney and Salvatore, or D. Salvatore. And to New Jersey, Anisimov, Cahoon, and Shore. So now, one day before the trade deadline, we are 33-25-4, and we are currently sitting in the second wild card, but that could change at any moment with how tight the Central Division is. As we take a look at really from the Wild up until the Predators at number 7, it's a very tight division, particularly for the wild cards. So we absolutely cannot let up any kind of steam here. We have to keep pushing forward, and I think we're going to stop it here, because this is going to be a huge trade deadline, I have a feeling, especially with the amount of trades that the computers are making. Like, my goodness. Goals for per game, we are currently sitting second in our division with a 3.39. Goals against per game, we are currently sitting fifth in our division with a 3.05. Power play, currently at a 20.2%. Not bad. Penalty kill gone down a little bit since we last checked at a 79.6. We're probably hovering around an 81 at this point. So, we're not struggling that much is for certain. It's just going to be a tight battle for the playoff spot. That's all it is, really. Goaltender stats, we have Keystov with a .917 save percentage in 32 games and an .885 for Holtby in 34 games. So I'm glad we gave Keystov the chance. He's grown an overall to an 86. Yeah, we didn't really need Bowman. Keystov's the guy right now. Dumba with 39 points on the back end. Dundas having a little bit of a down year as of right now with 28 points, 27 for Fleury, 16 for Lambos and Doughty, 12 for Goddard, and Sterling hasn't played much. Forward-wise, you have Plekanec with 62 points, Wright with 61 points, Burakovsky with 57 points. That entire first line has been pretty much point per game since they all came together, so that we're definitely keeping that line together. Marner with 55 points, Crosby with 45, Waugh with 44. The top 6 is now officially going. LaRose with 38. Nieuwendyk and Messier both with 22 points. Not too shabby for their rookie seasons. Naslund with 17, Gunler with 16, Atkinson with 5, Eakin with 3, and Zarnik with 2. Now what I'm really interested in is to see if we've maintained our face-off percentages from when we last checked. Crosby at a 57.5, Wright at a 51.6. Not looking promising here. Naslund with the... Well, actually, Naslund got moved back to the wing. How is Atkinson doing? 41.9. Alright, so face-offs overall still need a little bit of work. At least Shane Wright is improving on face-offs. He's finally getting used to the pace of being a center in the NHL. Hit-wise, you have LaRose, Wright, and Plekanec all well over a hit per game. Even Gunler, I believe, is over hit per game. Yep, with 69 and 62. Messier with over hit per game, 65 and 62 games as well. Let's check fights just to see how much Mr. Dundas has fought so far this year. Yeah, 18 fights. Dundas, you gotta stop fighting, my man. We need you out there. 18 fights, 96 penalty minutes. I mean, most of his penalty minutes are from fights. Defensively, we know who's good. Defensively, who's not at this point. Crosby, Waugh, all the usual suspects for the good takeaway to giveaway ratios have good to takeaway to giveaway ratios at the moment. and everyone else is, well, not ideal. So we're going to leave it off here. Let me know what you guys think of the current situation. I personally think we should just maintain this roster going into the playoffs because it's gotten us to the point where we're now competing for a playoff spot, whereas at the beginning of the season it didn't look like that. So for this roster, I think we just need to go through the growing pains. I think that's honestly what needs to happen with this team. And if we make it into the playoffs this year, that'll be even that much more valuable of an experience. And we'll just see how far we can take this thing, because I don't think there's too many moves that I want to make right now. Maybe we can consider an upgrade on the fourth line, with Gunler, Naslund, and Atkinson maybe. I don't want to get rid of Atkinson or Naslund, but maybe Gunler is someone we consider upgrading from. Let's check out how he's done physically and defensively, because that's mostly what I care about for the fourth line. Let's see, he's got 69 hits and 19 to 26 takeaways to giveaways, so he could be better for sure. He could be better. We also need a face-off guy for the fourth line, so maybe we trade Gunler for a center who can definitely win faceoffs. Like, I would say around 55% faceoffs, to be honest. So yeah, that's actually what I'm going to go look for now as we take a look at player stats around the league. So I'd say we're looking for like an 80, 81 overall center who's got really good faceoffs. That's what we're looking for here. And I would say a minimum of 200 faceoffs at least. So Pajot could be an option there. He's an 82 overall. I don't think I would put him on the fourth line. He doesn't fit into our scheme either, so we'll keep looking. Dano, he's 85 overall. Nah. Larkin, absolutely not. Glass, no. Crosby, he's on our team. Lundestrom, no. Cirelli, maybe Cirelli. He doesn't fit into our coach's scheme, but he does have a good face-off percentage at 57.1 and 373 face-offs taken. He may not be a bad pickup. 86 for face-off rating as well. Malmavara, nah, this is going to be too hard to trade for. Velarde, no. Nico, no. Heponiemi, no. Actually, Giroux, has he played this season? Are those last year's stats or this year's stats? That's this year's stats, wow. Nazem Kadri. How much does he cost? And only $2 million for 2 years. He's 36 years of age with that bottom six forward. If I retain salary on Kadri, then maybe. It fits in on all forward lines as well. That may not be a bad pickup, Nazem Kadri. Let's see how much he would cost to trade for here. Well, first of all, is Arizona willing to give him up? Yes, they are. So if I, hold on, we're going to have to back out of this and go into the actual trade screen to retain salary, I think. But Nazem Kadri, I think, has got to be the guy, because he's got a good face-off rating. He's pretty cheap as far as his contract goes, especially if we retain salary. And he'll also, I would imagine, be pretty cheap to trade for. Let's see. Yeah, his trade value is all the way down there. And we retain some salary. I don't think Arizona will be able to retain too much. Well, his contract isn't too big of a deal anyway. So they'll retain $1 million. Who'd I be giving back the other way? I think I'd be giving back Gunler. They don't want Gunler, but still, he would be a healthy scratch once we get Kadri in there. And then I think we'll give them a fourth round pick. So Gunler and a fourth for Kadri. I think that'll work, honestly. I think that'll work. Yeah, I don't want to wait around to do this. I think I want to do this now. Because Gunler hasn't really done much. I don't think he's on the penalty kill either. And Kadri, he just looks like a overall great fit. As long as he doesn't decrease in overall too much over the next couple of years. More particularly for this year. Because I just want him for his face-off expertise. We can always trade him next season if we have to, or at the draft. But I believe this will be a very good temporary pickup for us here going into these playoffs. Proposed trade, rejected. Okay, so instead of a fourth, give him Colorado's third here. So Gunler and Colorado's third for Kadri at half a salary, rejected. Let's see, maybe do they want a rookie that we don't particularly need? Let's give him, I would say Holmstrom. He's already 20 years of age, only 61 overall. I don't think he's going to pan out. So Gunler and Holmstrom for Kadri, that should honestly work. And as a matter of fact, we could probably get a pick back as well. Try to slide a fourth in there, to be honest. So Gunler and Holmstrom for Kadri at half a salary and a fourth. Proposed trade accepted. No-brainer for us here in Arizona. Well, it's a no-brainer for us here in Salt Lake City as well, because we desperately need help in the face-off circle. So Nazem Kadri, welcome to Salt Lake City. And hopefully you're a good fit there on the fourth line. Yes, you are. You're a very good fit for the fourth line. So hopefully you simulate like it. So I think that's the only change that we're going to make for right now. So that'll be about it for this one. And in the next one, we will make it through the rest of the regular season of year number, what is this now? I completely forget what year this is. Is this, let's take a look at Hayden Fleury. He's been here the entire time. Is this year number 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, this is year number 8. Wow. Okay. Anyway, with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one.